School's out and summer break is here, which for most parents means 2 months of filling time, plus the added pressure to make the next few weeks productive. Easier said than done. Joining us with more is well-being expert Japji Anna Bas. Now, summer break can be a scramble, right? Why is that?
Well, parents are likely to want to fill the summer for their kids, right? They're out of school, you don't want them playing video games all day, right? And that's what kids these days are so often likely to do. But what we end up doing very often is filling the summer. So it's jam-packed. You've got 9 to 3, 9 to 5, as they do all year. But there's an opportunity that's being lost when we do that.
What is that opportunity? Boredom. It's okay for kids to be bored.
It's important for kids to be bored. Why? And this is something that happens less and less with the advent of these little devices that everybody has carrying around. Because with boredom, it's, as I always used to say when my kids were a little bit smaller, it's the last step before creativity. That's where, Mom, I don't know what to do.
Right, I'm bored.
And then they figure it out. Then they put two things together that they didn't think of before, and they create something new. It's adventuresome. They're, building a fort in a yard. They're pulling things together. And these are the foundations for problem solving that we see later in life, for creating new initiatives that we see later in life. So when we structure the whole time, we're actually robbing our children of this opportunity.
So when your child says, Mom, Dad, I'm bored, the first response shouldn't be, well, I'll give you something to do. It should be, well, find something to do, right? What's the time limit in that?
This is developmental, right? Because you're not gonna let a 4-year-old go for 3 hours, right?
There are some limitations, yeah.
But your 13-year-old can have an afternoon. So it's a little bit dependent too on the particular child, but with kids under 7, you want this to be shorter windows with direct visual observation. As they get into that 9 to 12 window, we're starting to see more prefrontal cortex development, and they can actually handle good chunks of time on their own. And so you want to let them have that and ask them about it afterwards. Really, get curious and listen to what they developed and how they got there.
And why is that important, asking those questions?
Well, they're going to move through that process, and they're going to remember what they did, the fort that they built. But they're not likely to focus on that they were bored, that maybe they were a bit annoyed at the parent for not telling them what to do, the thing that they thought of first, that next step. And that process, being able to review it with the parent, is going to give them access to this as a model.
So we have under a minute to go. Does this develop leadership skills later on in life?
It's actually key to developing leadership skills later in life. If we have kids who are always being told what to do, we might be raising good worker bees, right? Those who've had the opportunity to problem solve, to create, to generate new situations are going to be able to do that when they're in a situation at work, when they're rising to manager, right? They're the ones who are going to be able to say, oh, these 3 people have had this problem repeatedly. What if we handle it in this way? Because they see it. They're habituated to seeing it. They've cultivated those neural pathways. And that's going to take them to senior manager.
They've developed those problem-solving skills, and once they get into adulthood, they're able to manage those situations. Thank you so much for joining us and offering this insight for our audience this morning.
My absolute pleasure.
All right, more Morning Live coming up after the break. Good morning.